Hello there, beautiful Scorpio energies. Welcome to my channel, Mystic Light Seeker. I hope all is well and good with you all. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am doing a Celtic style reading, Celtic cross. This is not something I've done on this channel before, so this will be a love reading using the Celtic cross style for Scorpio signs and sun, moon, Venus, and rising placements. Of course, everybody is welcome here. So if you like tarot, feel free to subscribe if you're new. For everybody that's returning, thank you and welcome back. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting my channel. It's super easy, liking the videos, supporting the channel, like, you know, sharing, commenting, and all that good stuff. Subscribing would be great. All right, so I honestly was like 15 minutes into this reading, and literally, like, my finger touched the wrong button on the keyboard, and I stopped the entire reading. I didn't even pause it. So I hit the wrong button to take a text and a message from my son, and then boom, this is what happened. So so now we're back to getting into it. Okay, and here we are. I do have my phone notifications on. I am expecting a lot of orders as well, so bear with me. And yeah, usually I don't have to say any of this because I record at night, but right now it's not nighttime. Right now it is April 24th, and it is 6 a.m. on the dot. All right, lovely people, let's get started. So with the Celtic cross, you know, you pull the first card, which is the Queen of Pentacles for you, which is the present situation. Your next is the challenge card, which is the Page of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles in the reverse is the past and the foundation basis for this love reading. The Knight of Swords is the future and the potential for this love situation. The Magician in the reverse is here for you for what's on your conscious mind and what are the higher influences at play. The Ace of Cups in the reverse is for what your, you know, secret what's hidden, what's known, unknown, or secret desires, something that hasn't been expressed, and what lower influences are pulling at you. And this is the center cross. The staff, we have the Star card for you here for advice and what's going on with the self, looking forward, guidance, and the way forward. This is the present and the current dynamics. The Six of Swords for you here in the reverse for what's the external influences. The Lovers in the reverse, hopes and fears, and your Seven of Wands is the outcome. And I am doing this because I have not done this before on this channel, this type of reading. So if you're new to the Celtic cross, this is how it plays out. And if you do know what it's all about, thank you so much for being patient. Okay, and here we go. So what's going on with your Queen of Pentacles for the present situation, Scorpio? I feel like maybe you're feeling not as grounded, not like you don't have a footing right now in this relationship or in this love connection. It could be for like a lot of things going on in the life that's causing that. But essentially with the relationship itself, it doesn't feel stable, it doesn't feel balanced or grounded, and feels like your instincts here, like the nurturing part of you, Scorpio, is like misreading, misfiring the situation, maybe looking for things to be, maybe you're looking for the positive in things when things really are not as positive. That's what happens when I record in the morning. There's noise outside. But essentially, overall, I feel like, you know, maybe you're putting a lot of energy into a person who might be a little distant, okay? They leave you maybe questioning your worth. I do feel like when, you know, how this card ties into the earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, sometimes it holds strong with Capricorn. There's just some sort of a clash right now. You're a Scorpio, you know, you have watery depth, your emotions are real, they're deep, they're meaningful. Doesn't have to be your emotional, doesn't have to be, you could be emotionless, but within yourself, your emotions here, you know, something is off, something is like not, something is dimmed out a little bit. So there could be some sort of a disconnection between your actual emotional needs and this person's general way of giving. Like your love language might not be kind of aligned. All right, you might be giving too much, or maybe doing enough, or hoping somehow to win their affection. But overall, I feel like you could be you know, overextending yourself. I feel like they find you to be very magnetic, very attractive. There's some charm about you that really keeps this person interested in you, okay? But Maybe you come across as a little too intense, or like your approach is kind of like overwhelms them for whatever reason. It doesn't have to be like you're too intense, but to them, they could see you like that. The queen comes out a little strong here. Usually the queen is very, abundant, independent, and all this stuff. So sometimes in the reverse, when maybe you're going through some stuff, the relationship gets impacted because they also find your patterns and your ways to be overwhelming them. I don't know why they would feel that way, but that's how they're showing up. Maybe they look at you in a way that you want, like, they see, they hear you, they hear that the stability that you're after and what you're looking for, but they also feel like your emotional connection, the depth that you're trying to go through on the emotional level, messes with them, okay, because they have a need for some reason to also have some sort of control, and it messes with their, it's kind of like when you kind of when you make things, bring things, excuse me, at an earth level, you become like, really raw, sincere, genuine, showing your true self, and again, not an emotional mess, but an emotional side. Their personality may not connect with that sort of depth that you bring, and I feel like, to them, they can't, like, maybe relinquish full control to the views of things. So there's still like work being done, it feels like. I don't know, it feels like they're also kind of, maybe they don't reciprocate your the way you care for them. They don't, like, there's no, they struggle to kind of match your way of giving and the way that you are, and I feel like for some of you, um because they kind of have like that need to have some sort of like overall control in the relationship, or have a say in specific things, they also look at this whole like give and take thing as more of a demand, and they're not like in the place where they're okay with that. For some reason, they feel like people should just be who they are, and it shouldn't be like an equal thing. So hey, that's what you're dealing with. The Page of Pentacles here, Capricorn or Scorpio. We also have Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy. With the Page of Pentacles, in terms of a challenge, I think the challenge here is patience, really. There's a lot of stuff going on. I feel like, there could be some sort of caution and inexperience also at play here for you. Inexperience could be for many reasons. Inexperience in a new role, in a new situation, in whatever. But your experience here is also making you the person that you are. And I feel like for a lot of you, excuse me, this person that we're dealing with, and you, like, they're intrigued by the concept of either a relationship or having you in their life. That's an intriguing fact, but there's a hesitation here, and that hesitation that they're not acting on frustrates you. Okay, I mean, it's just kind of like you're an all-in person type of person, so it makes you wonder if they're really interested or they're just like stringing you along. Personally, I feel like, if because it's in a challenge position, and even though it's a Pentacles card, I feel like, here is a side comment to say, hey, when your intuition is or when you're wondering something, kind of, hang on to that in a sense that to help you, not impede you. Okay, so sometimes the help would be to release something that you don't know you have to like release anyway, but it's so listen to your thoughts here, because this person could very well be stringing you along. I mean, there's a lot of stability here to be had but there's a whole lot to be offered, or what's being offered may not be enough. I feel like for a lot of you, Scorpio, just balance like your passion with what they say, like trust the process, like, keep pursuing the passionate things that you want in this connection or in the relationship with this person, but be like, I mean, I feel like the perspective here is to remain like objective, like open-minded. For a lot of you, excuse me, this person, like, they like to kind of, I don't know why, but like there's a sense of vulnerability that they like to have, or they like to show, or they like to see in you that is not there. Um, they kind of are a little like, and this could be you and them, like reflecting, mirroring each other, but there's a sense of curiosity here about you, but I feel like they worry about the depth, okay? Because they may have laid carefully laid plans for you for this relationship. There could be something else going on. They could have like something going, like be planning for themselves. So this energy here of giving and sharing and talking, they withhold. It feels like they don't hold. They withhold. They don't share as much as they pretend like they do. They hold back on a lot of stuff. Okay, so maybe they, this person like sees the connection as a connection, but they're not necessarily full force committing, or they're hesitating about it. All right, they kind of don't want to lose their own footing. It feels like they fight, or they feel like they will lose their independence of some sort. Not that you're going to take it away from them, but they don't want to relinquish whatever makes them feel like strong, okay, or present. So with the past here, Two of Pentacles, okay, the Two of Pentacles here, the reverse, actually, I feel like your overall past has been heavily invested in perhaps emotional juggling. Okay, maybe you've tried to balance like love and life, but something always felt like you were falling short. I feel like this Two of Pentacles here is pointing to, again, a sense of instability when it comes to juggling your priorities. Or for some of you, you could be dealing with some sort of ghosting or unbalanced relationship right now that, is leaving you feeling guarded, especially based on the past, coming into this connection, or past experiences with this connection itself, okay, like the relationship specifically. So this is the Two of Pentacles keeps you on edge, in the sense that you actually, it's not that you don't know how to juggle or can't prioritize, or there's the whole imbalance. There's an underlayer here. I feel like it feels like you don't want to, I feel you also have those hesitations, right? So you're also balancing how much you want to trust this person's intentions, is what I'm trying to get at. So like the relationship here has a multiple layers of things that are like needing real work. I'm talking like soul work, so if the soul effort is not connected, if this is not a soul ignited connection, then here there's a lot of learning taking place then, okay? I mean, they're showing up here as, they also struggle to prioritize important things and things that keep them stable. Especially since this is a love reading, they maybe struggle prioritizing love. Maybe they have other demands. There could be other things going on in their lives, like something just kind of holds them back a little bit. So they also struggle with missed opportunities here because of their inability to kind of get things on the right track. Okay, so again, it just feels like there's a lot of the instability comes due to like life, because we have a lot of pentacles, discipline, structure, financials. So when it comes to like relationships, foundations, trust, things like that, with the Two of Pentacles, it's just the prioritization kind of keeps shifting back and forth. They could have, had chaotic relationships as well in the past, or you and them may have faced a chaotic, event or two, or upheaval, I guess. And your emotions have both kind of gotten out of hand. But this person comes more as though they are not as emotionally attached, or rather, I should say they're emotionally detached. Okay, so they want you to know that they care, they're interested, but they don't want to lose control of whatever it is that they're trying to fight to keep control of. I don't know what that is. You would know. So, or you may not even know. We may not even know. But there's it just feels like they are having like some sort of a battle with themselves a little bit. All right. So the Knight of Swords here. Excuse me, you guys, my allergies are a tiny bit rough this morning. The Knight of Swords here for you, Scorpio, in terms of future, potential way forward. Something here could be coming through where something could happen out of sudden. Okay, something could come through, some sort of, storm, sword, some sort of like, what's the word, altercation or confrontation. I feel like just kind of getting something talked out, like worked through or something. I mean, I feel like there could be some sort of a bold move here being taken, maybe some sort of a confession or some sort of a clash, as they say. So whether the truths are being spoken or expressed, but there's going to be some sort of directness here. Okay, so I also feel like for a lot of you, this person could come through with also some cutting thoughts and words. So you both will be like putting yourselves again in that challenge where the emotional depth of things, this person is not going to want to go deep, this other person is going to want to go deep, type of thing. So I feel like, with you specifically though, this card is tied to an air sign, and it's a card of logic and focus and stuff. So I feel like your message here, if something does kind of break out, or confrontation, or some sort of a direct form of communication takes place that's very important to happen. Just kind of stay alert, stay sharp, okay? And don't let their impulsiveness like overwhelm you, because they could be like charged with, not necessarily emotionally charged, but they could be charged with some thoughts and ideas and feelings. So I feel like your best approach here, calm waters, Scorpio, just kind of like, all right, hear them out, I guess. But for them, I feel like there's a desire for to act on something decisively, whether it's to clarify their feelings or to set boundaries, or to offer something. I don't know, something might be coming through, but they're gonna come across as a little too strong. Okay, it almost feels like they're driven by need to assert themselves. Okay, like almost they don't want to lose grip, like they almost want to remind you like where they are, who they are. Something, I don't know, but I feel like this person's coming across as a little kind of cold when they act, or if they act in this way, if they come charging at you, trying to talk to you, confront you about something. But it is what it is. Again, they keep feeling like they're having to struggle with stuff because they don't want to lose control. They fear repeating past mistakes. Okay, so especially when it comes to love, because love always takes a back seat maybe for them. So something here is going on with their prioritization of relationships and love, and how they perceive and act with love, okay? Like on the love that they want, I guess. So the Magician here in the reverse, this is like your conscious situation, your own, what's in your side here, what's in your corner. I feel like you're really wanting to make this work, okay? I really do. But the Magician here in the reverse, there's a lot of doubt clouding your power. Even if you want to manifest some things, you're actually, I feel like, thinking, because this is an air sign as well, you're thinking in a form, like even though it's in the reverse, you're thinking though in a way that you're like, well, how am I don't want to overexpend my resources anymore. My Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. This is my current situation. And now I'm in here with this Magician in the reverse. So a lot of you here, you're really, it's not so much, it's just kind of like you're kind of like hitting like a wall, but that wall that you're hitting isn't like a negative thing. It's more like you're hitting that road where, how like the magician manifests things and can like get what they want, and they have all the tools at their hands and stuff like that. I feel like you're just reaching a point where you're like, I love my intuition, I want to trust it and stuff, but there's just some things I just don't know if I want to manifest or not manifest. So you're even having your own doubts here, okay, overall. I feel like for a lot of you, you know, it feels like there isn't a whole lot right now that can be done to sway this person and how they see things or how they act, okay? I feel like this card here is all about mixed signals, okay? It's not bringing in, giving you any solid direction. So it's kind of like indirectly draining your confidence, and it's kind of giving you a little bit of a deflated boost, like your esteem is deflated a little bit. Now, it's not crushed or shattered. You're a very strong person, but when it comes to this whole making sense of things, it's just not making sense, okay? I feel like this person is also aware of their own potential, but they're blocking themselves from expressing themselves, putting themselves out there, applying themselves, all right? I feel like they see you as somebody that they're very, like, drawn to. They find you very captivating, no lie, but they also find you somewhat intimidating. And I don't feel like this person feels like your energy styles, your intensity styles, or whatever you want to call them, match. Like, I feel like, they're kind of like stuck on questioning whether they have what it takes to build a relationship with you, is what it is. So that's why the Magician's here, and that's why it's in the reverse, okay? So in terms of like the below or the subconscious, unconscious mind, what needs to be revealed, we have the Ace of Cups in the reverse, Scorpio again. I feel like you're guarding your heart. I feel like there's a fear of putting, like, overexerting yourself here when it comes to love or relationships, or like not meeting the demands. But the fear isn't like a worry. It's more like, like I can only do so much with what I have and with what I'm given, with what I'm meant to feel. And if I'm not feeling, like, that's why it's like two things. So there's some sort of a barrier, like an invisible barrier when it comes to putting you and this person in a connection that's very very active. It's really not. There's some blockages, okay? Blockages. I feel like for some of you, that could be here. You might be clinging on to some thoughts or ideas of like what the Ace of Cups should be instead. But ultimately, I feel like, That's the text that I was telling you about. But ultimately, I feel like, this is all coming from past betrayals. So you being guarded, you approaching certain things a certain way is also really coming from like past betrayals, past manipulation, whether it's from this person or however long you've been together, or from like past experiences in general. Okay. So I feel like a lot of you really want something very deep and meaningful, but you worry that this person is just not going to accept the vulnerabilities that you have. And it keeps you from fully opening up. And I feel like this blockage, really makes you feel very, very cautious at how you approach things. So even if you really want to enmesh yourself in thoughts and feelings with this person, it just feels like the focus on this attention, the awareness is not matching. Okay. So I don't know. I don't know. I feel like this person just has a lot of blockages. I feel, yeah, they're suppressing their emotions, you guys. Like, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of worry that, they're going to be, again, maybe this person has narcissism. There could be some sort of narcissism in their pattern or in their habits and the way they live. So if they see things as a threat to how their lifestyle is overall, or if they find that you're like, because narcissists, believe it or not, they have their own like bubble of boundaries that they want. So anyways, so if they're narcissist, if they have some narcissistic tendencies, this card over here, I feel like comes through as they're not going to overflow with, and they have these blockages, especially emotionally, because they're protecting their ego. All right, that's what I'm trying to get at. So their detachment can feel like it's ghosting. It could feel like it's avoiding, abandoning, and it hurts. It hurts. You're a very sensitive soul, so it hurts because it's kind of like, why am I getting treated this way? This doesn't feel right. This isn't fair. This isn't nice, right? Very cold energy from this person. So looking forward, the Star card, Aquarius, is showing up again. I like it. I feel like it's a healing card. I feel like this card, advice to you, to yourself, and guidance way forward. This card urges you to heal yourself, embrace the hope that you have, let go of any tendencies that do not play for your favor here. And also, I feel like it's important to trust your inner thoughts, your inner light, and your inner beauty. Realistically, here is what's going to be attracting the true love that you so much that you deserve. I feel like if you focus on self-love, you're going to be able to either deepen this connection with this person, or find a better match, or somebody that matches your depth. This is the truth, and this is part of the healing. And look at this. It just doesn't get any, it's just like almost self-explanatory, you guys. The Six of Swords here is beautiful as well. Even though it's in the reverse, this is you, feeling heavy here. This is you feeling like, there's a lot that you're, taking on yourself. And I feel like in the reverse, you might have people in your life that are showing you, they're like reinforcing the highlighting the truths of things. Okay, like maybe reinforcing the good, the pros and cons. For a lot of you here, this person, excuse me, they need to release. And if they don't release their rigid structure and their defenses, they're never going to be able to find the right love to trust, because their emotional look, I feel like that's them pilfering the emotional, and then it's like pouring it. I feel like they're pouring it back in, and they're like, I don't know. I mean, you would think they're scooping it, or they're filling the pond, but in my heart, it's like they're actually getting, they're like recharging it. It's kind of like, yeah, I'm here, I'm dipping my foot, but I don't need all of it, in terms of like, the the upgraded kind of relationship lifestyle. So here, I feel like they show up as, they're dealing with a lot of baggage. Okay, they have past baggage. Something is keeping them anchored. Something is keeping them tethered to being indecisive. They're not fully invested. They're not fully committed. Okay, I feel like they want to move closer to you, but they feel trapped by their own external demands. So there could be other things going on, making them feel a little distant, making them come across as either manipulative or a little narcissistic. There could be other factors affecting them. But with the Lovers in the reverse, this is a Gemini card. In terms of hopes and fears, I feel like you dream of a soulmate connection here. It's something that you desire. It's something that you want. But there's fear of misalignment and betrayal, partly due to either past experiences with this energy, or from like your past experiences in general. So I feel like this is, you know, reflects like you want to have a better way of feeling unified, united, than clashing with things. But, you know, it does feel like your hopes to unify things and your fears of clashing with things are conflicting you right now, okay? And so I feel like you want this person to choose you, but you worry their indecision is signaling, you know, disinterest or deceit. Meaning that there could be other strings attached to your connection, but the connection is not fully thriving. All right. I feel like, you know, they want some sort of harmony as well, but they do not want to lose their independence. And they're not in a place where, like, I feel like some sort of trust has not been present or has been broken. So it's really just tough to kind of mend things when there's like a lot of things that are torn. But I feel like the connection is something they want, but they don't want the commitment. Okay. So, and they like independence in a way where they don't want to feel vulnerable. They want to they want to be like in control. So a lot of that is what guides them. And like, yeah, they're taking a strong stance here. And this is the outcome card for you and them in a relationship, sure. But at the same time, I feel like, you know, this is a position of, we're looking at things in a way where we're going to stand our ground. We're going to plant our seeds. I feel like, you know, you are, you know, it's like you've gone through enough in terms of like wondering and worrying and all this stuff. You've risked plenty for this person. You've done a lot, but you're also exhausted from all the fighting. So I feel like right now, you know, you're done feeling burnt out. I feel like looking forward, that it's time to kind of get yourself in a place where you're like standing your ground, speaking your piece, being passionate about what matters to you. I mean, taking action towards the right things for the right reasons. That way, you know, you're completely on the right track. I feel like your heart wants something, but you also want that something to also mirror, like not mirroring, but to kind of like complement. So the balance is there, like, you know, you're the yin to their yang sort of thing. So I feel like there's just a lot of hesitation. I feel like they're also standing their ground on some things and they're choosing not to budge. But, you know, there could be, again, this could be like a test of your patience. But I feel like your patience is being tested. But you know what? You're a very passionate soul. So it all works out in the end, because ultimately you're going to be putting the work that you feel like you want to put into this, if there is something here. But if there isn't, you're going to really be working on that healing. Okay. You're going to stand your ground and when we say healing, it could just be doing things right, like in a meaningful, helpful, healthy way. So even if it comes down to communicating or fixing a relationship, you're going to stand your ground on those healing elements that need to be done. So you're not, you know, this person can have issues in their own, they're putting themselves in a mental prison for some reason, but that's on them. Okay. So that's what I have for you, Scorpio. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.